Yeah, that was one of my vibes. I can't do it anymore. I hate it. It's not the same unless it's like a dimly lit street with like street lamps, right? Like walking through something like that, and it's like a nice, maybe not summer, but you know, nice spring day, fall is my favorite. Fall's my favorite season. I like walking around during fall, although it does get cold, and I don't like the coldness of it, but fall is another vibe, I'll say. Nice fall day. I also like rain. I like rain a lot, especially a light rain, or even a really heavy rain. They're both kind of cool. That was another one of my things I like to do. Is if it was raining outside at nighttime, I would go outside and I would stand outside, or I would go somewhere, because actually really liked the rain, you know. I thought it was really cool when you're like around and it's like you're just getting soaked in the rain. It's just a really cool thing, you know. But you can't really do it because it's another one of the things people think you're weird if you're like wandering around in the rain. I've had that happen to me sometimes as a kid. Even there's like people would pass me by and they'd be like, do you need a ride? Or it's like pouring out. Like I would try to be like, no, I'm fine. They'd be like, oh no, let me give you a ride. It's like pouring rain. You need a, especially if it's like somebody I knew that I was like I had to just take the ride. And I was like, frick, dude, I just want to walk around in the rain. They always said you would get a cold if you walk around in the rain. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who decided that's true, that you walk around, if you hang out in the rain too long, you'll catch a cold. How does that work exactly? I don't know. I have some very like specific memories that are really like striking. I feel like, you know, you just like remember it and you're like, oh, that was a really cozy feeling that I had, you know, during that point. I try to recapture it sometimes, but it's difficult. I remember there was one time I was sitting inside. No, I was sitting. What was I doing? I was playing, I think, like Grim Fandango. I was playing just like an adventure game, just like a point-and-click adventure game. I'm pretty sure it was like Grim Fandango. It was either that or Siberia. It was one of the two. I was just sitting inside, and I just looked outside, and it was like fall. And you know, I had a window in my room, so I was just like in front of the window, just looking at the trees, the leaves falling outside, and it was like, you know, a nice little breeze going. It was just like super cozy. I was in college. Shit, there was another cicada. I was in my last year of college. I remember just really cozy feeling, and then I walked to my friend's house. Go away, Tiara. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to you though. I'm trying to catch a fish. And you're like here. Oof. Oh, by the way, Hornsby is moving out. I was thinking I probably should have included that in the recording, but I didn't think about it. He asked if he should leave, and I was like, sure. Yeah. I mean, he's not like my favorite villager. My least favorite thing about him is his house position. Because that's his house right over there. I hate that house. That's like right on the river edge. I was like, get that house out of here. Although I don't know if it removes the house. It might not remove the house. It might just somebody else moves into his old house or something like that. Is that how that works? I don't remember. Yeah, he's moving out. I liked him, but you know, he's not really one of my favorites right now. That I'll say. So I'm kind of gonna let him go and see, you know, see who else comes around. I feel like there's a couple I would probably want to keep at this point. Like, I think I would keep Coco as long as I could. Coco is one of the most interesting villagers in my mind. Louis, this is Louis. I'd probably let him go, honestly. I feel bad about it, but I'm not, like, huge into the gorillas, into the monkeys. Not a big monkey guy. I feel like I'd like to keep Sally and Blair. I think I'd keep Snake. Snake's kind of cool. Spike, I could, like, take or leave. Who else? Twiggy. Twiggy, I'm not sure. Twiggy, I'm not certain. I don't know. Would I get rid of Twiggy? I feel like I'm a little divided on it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Cross that bridge when we get to it. See how I feel in the moment, you know? I probably feel the same way about Admiral as well. Cross that bridge when I get to it. I think I'd keep Carmen. I like Carmen a lot. She's like a newer villager. She's a mouse. She's red. Did I already say I like Sally and Blair? I think I'd keep them both. Who else? I try to think of everybody. Coco we already talked about. Oh, there's Betty. Betty I like, but yeah, if she wanted to go, I don't think I would stop her necessarily. Tiara, Bones, and Belle. I wonder how much I can. She's the other rhino, but she does have the same personality as either Sally or Blair. I can't remember. One of them. I think it's Sally. Maybe even both of them. I don't know if they have the same personality. So I think I'd keep one of them and not. I'd let Tiara go probably. I don't know why I'm going over this in extraordinary detail. And then there's Bones and Belle, both of whom I don't feel any strong anything towards. I think because they're both, to me, they feel like the newest. Although if out of either of them, I think I do like Bones. I think I'd let Belle go. She's like a cow. Bones is a dog. Belle is like literally a cow. She's literally a cow. I'm not trying to just insult her. She's literally a cow. And yeah, I don't know. I might feel differently later. These two are hanging out, but they don't really like each other. Just no one worth talking to around here. No one at all. Oh, Maya. Let's just keep that between the two of us. Twiggy would totally take that personally. That's so mean. We're the only ones fishing this close together? I wonder if it's a bad idea. That's Betty. That's Carmen. That's Twiggy. All the girls are on this side, and then you have Admiral just completely by himself over there. Oh, I got the Future shirt, by the way. This is one of my favorite shirts, I think. Such a weird design. But I actually got this from winning the tourney. Or, I guess, having the biggest fish so far in the tourney. Technically haven't won yet until tomorrow. But I don't see how they're going to beat a 27-inch fish. I'd be surprised if they did. You know, it's kind of hard to tell how familiar people are going to be with my town. Because I'm playing in it, like, a lot. But, like, are people going to know all of these characters? Or do I have to, like, explain? I probably have to explain them, because I'm going to be cutting out, like, a lot of interaction with them, I bet. Yeah, I also have a perfect town right now. So I guess, you know, you get to see a little bit of that. I guess you're seeing a lot of it right now, if I'm leaving all this in, which I feel like I am. This is gonna be a long episode. Might be a two-parter. It's gonna be a two-parter. We split it up into two. Especially if I talk too long. If I talked for like 40 minutes just then, that would have been, that's 2 episodes. Oh man. If I keep talking for another 40 minutes till noon, that's like 4 episodes. That's awful. I'm sorry. Maybe I should shut up. I'll say if I run out of things to talk about. I probably am out of things to talk about, honestly. It's like pond is really awkward because the fish swim real weird in it and my bobber moves real weird in it. That is one thing about New Horizons that I really do prefer is the ability to landscape. Although I'm not too into the way it kind of turned Animal Crossing into more of a what do you call it? A creative outlet, I guess, and less of a game. More of a painting tool that you can use to build something cool and share it on Instagram. I'm not super into that, but the ability to landscape is useful. I mean, it helps you fix up certain parts of your town. And I did like... I will say I didn't hate being able to, you know, edit my town outside and place down stuff and create these little dioramas or whatever. Like, I did like that. It's just... I guess it's just that that's all the game was, it felt like. I felt like the rest of the game was really kind of disappointing, especially with all the stuff they removed and then added like a year later. It doesn't even have all the stuff from New Leaf. I don't know. I don't know if it even has all the stuff from New Leaf now. But I know that was a big problem originally. I also thought the crafting system was one of the weaker aspects of New Horizons. Although I liked it conceptually. I really wish there was more to it. Like, it definitely became annoying when I was just receiving crafting recipes and I just didn't care about any of these things. And they were all pretty much the same sort of thing. And it was just these outdoorsy, like, very specifically themed towards the outdoors were the things you were crafting. I don't know that I used a lot of those recipes, you know? I used a few of them, but, like, I wasn't huge about them. And I also kind of wish I would have preferred if they did a crafting system more similar to, like, Terraria or, like, Minecraft, I guess, where it's like, okay, you get a material, and then it tells you all the things you can make with the material, right? You know, I don't know. Maybe I would have preferred something like that. And then when you craft, like, a certain thing... Like, you can craft more things out of the thing that you crafted. There she is. I believe she just spawned into existence. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like that sort of thing, but it felt like when I built something, there was nothing... Like, it was either I wanted that thing, and that's it. You know, there usually wasn't anything to build from the thing that I was building, so I couldn't, like, work my way up to something cool... You know, is rather, do I want this one thing or do I not? So you get a crafting recipe and you're like, well, I'm never going to make this because this sucks and I don't want it. So, you know what I mean? It's like, it could have been better. It could have been better. And the fun of Animal Crossing turned into, like, whether or not you like that creative, building your town into something cool. Whether or not you enjoy that. And if you don't, then the game really isn't that exciting. And that's sort of the big downfall. The big issue. But then again, I think even for those people that do like that creative part of Animal Crossing, it's like, what do you do after you've done it? You know, what do you do after you've created the perfect town and shared all your pictures on Reddit? You know, and you're like, this is my town. This is what I've done. It's like you just stop playing, right? Like, what else are you going to do? You don't want to mess it up. You don't want to mess up your town. It's like nothing else to do in the game. Kind of just, you're done. You beat the game. There's really nothing else to do, you know? I find that really interesting. So, you know, in my mind, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit. In New Horizons, but that's why I like this one so much. It's just so simple and just pleasant. I don't know. You know. I guess that's what I'm going for. More what I want to do now in terms of, like, talking about games and playing games. Is I kind of want to just find stuff that evokes a feeling rather than like, you know. I think I was talking to my friends about this earlier. They brought up this series, and I don't know. They were asking if this is like hard, and I was like, well, no, not really. I mean, they're asking like, okay, well, is it gonna be hard to get certain things during certain times of the month? I was like, not really. And they're like, oh. I didn't really explain further. But I was like, it's like, you know, so I you know, but I feel like the question then would be, why do it then if it's not like a challenge? It's not like really especially hard. And mostly it's just because like, I don't know. It's because I'm kind of nostalgic for this like specific era of gaming. You know, like right now I feel very nostalgic for like GameCube, Game Boy Advance, just this early 2000s to just the 2000s. I guess is now how I'm feeling, like nostalgic for the 2000s, which is weird. I guess it's because this is my childhood, you know. But there's like a specific feeling, especially from GameCube games, that I get. So I want to play more GameCube games, and I wanted to play this Animal Crossing specifically because this is the one I spent the most time playing. And it's just like, it was mostly just an excuse to play this game. It was really what I was going for. I'm like, I want to play Animal Crossing. And can I make a series out of that? And I'm like, well, yeah, if I do like, okay, well, I'm completing the game in like a year. And I can almost like clickbait that as well. Like, that's the inception of the idea, you know? It's not about like whether or not it's really hard. It's just about, you know, playing this game, sharing this game, especially with people that like played it when they were younger and maybe can't really play it now. Because, I mean, it's not like it's available on like... They have never re-released the original Animal Crossing, not once. I don't think they've ever re-released any of the Animal Crossings, and I think it's because the concept of the game itself is that new versions of the game kind of make the other ones, you know, outdated. At least that's how they look at it. You know. So it's like, you know, when they release a new expansion for like World of Warcraft or something, it's like, well, it's just a more complete version. It's a more up-to-date modern version. So it's basically, we don't need to re-release the old ones. And I get it. And I you know, maybe not the person who's necessarily clamoring for a re-release of it because I can just play it on my GameCube. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people just don't have access to this version of Animal Crossing anymore. And also, I'm playing in Progressive Scan, which is something a lot of people don't have access to, especially for GameCube, because it's a very high buy-in price for Progressive Scan. So this is Animal Crossing in a way that a lot of people haven't even seen. But like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to share. And I might like, I'm definitely thinking about more and more just playing random GameCube games, even as streams, stuff like that, because that's sort of the era I'm like really into right now. Like, I was playing Star Wars Bounty Hunter the other day. There's a GameCube game where you play as Jango Fett, and it was just such a product of its time that it's like this perfect feeling that I get from it. I'm like, it brings me back, you know. Like, I love stuff like that, where it's just like you can tell this only made sense in the time period it was put out, you know. And people don't make stuff like that anymore. You know, people talk about like this era has some specific, you know, chill types of games. Like, one of the ones I think about a lot is Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud. If you haven't played Dark Cloud, it's like a real, like, just kind of, basically you play as this guy and you're trying to restore this town. The atmosphere of it is just very, gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. mysterious. I don't know. How do you describe it? You start in this like dark, sort of empty area, and you just sort of you grind your way through a dungeon, and then you get villages. You get buildings and people, and you save them, and then the town sort of builds itself up over time. But it evolves from this like isolating sort of feeling into a you know, a cool, fun, bustling little town. But it's almost the same vibe that you get from Animal Crossing, you know. So you just play it, and you're kind of like, just enraptured in the vibe and the atmosphere, you know. I keep wanting to use the word vibe. It's just a vibe, you know. You wouldn't get it. But like that's what I'm trying to capture, I guess. I think I talked about earlier. I've been watching this guy on YouTube. His channel name is Any Austin, I think. Been watching a lot of his stuff, and he's been doing like skybox videos where he just talks about skyboxes in games. And he's just like, look at this skybox. Like, this is really interesting. And then he did another video where he just like focused in on like almost like liminal spaces in video games, basically. Like, I think I've talked about this before, but he would focus in on the liminal, like a space you just kind of like walk through and don't pay that much attention to, and he would just like look at the little details and point them out. And I was like, this is one of those things, you know. This is one of those things that gives me that feeling of just like, I don't know. It's like the same feeling you get when you look at like a liminal space, right? It's like that feeling of like nostalgia, with like a slight bit of emptiness, you know? That slight feeling of like loneliness. It's like being alone in a mall, you know? It's a big mall. There's supposed to be people here and there's not, you know? There's just something like comfy about that.